Welcome to D&D characters to fight your DM with. I'm your host, Gifted Nature, and I'm going to be going over something that's fun, or it is powerful, or maybe both. Maybe you're just playing a superhero campaign. Maybe your DM, ate your favorite snack or didn't pick you up when you needed a ride. Or maybe they wouldn't let you play the one character you wanted to play, so they had you roll something different. So, here you go. Try one of these on for size, right? What we want to do is we want to take a look here at Lenny Twinkletoes. So we're going to take a look at this wonderful little guy. He's a small-sized character. He's a Harengon, so he's a little rabbit folk. And as you can see, his rucksack is very large. It's like proportional. It's like even larger than his own, body. That is lore accurate for Lenny Twinkletoes, and we'll go into why, right? And you can see he's got his dynamite, he's got his apple pie, some grenades, some alchemy vials. He's a cute little guy, and we'll go into his backstory. So first, the backstory for Lenny is actually pretty well developed. So the story I have for him, and he really doesn't know this until maybe it comes up into your sessions way later, but Lenny was a normal rabbit out in the Fey Wilds, and then there was some sort of ritual they were doing. They had a special sauce, they needed to do a thing, but these Fey druids, whoever what kind of beings they were, maybe they were I don't know, dryads, maybe they were some sort of dragon, who knows what it was, but they accidentally spilled a little bit of their ritual juice onto this poor little baby rabbit, and it made him kind of sentient, right? And then this druid was like, let's just get this out of here, and just tossed that sentient rabbit accident through a portal to the normal realms, because he was like, crap, I just need to get rid of this guy. All right, and shoved right through the door, out the back. So Lenny just appeared in a forest one day, didn't know where he was or who he was or what he was, and he was found by a kindly old man from a little small village, and he was raised as his own, right? Well, from there, Lenny grew up, and his adoptive father one day ended up, I think, getting, you can write it however you want or whatever, or attach it however you want to do it, but maybe he was being muscled by a clergy, or maybe there was a really crappy, mean group of mercenaries that were extorting everyone in town, and they came into Lenny's dad's area or farm or business and just stole all his money. So Lenny goes crazy. He goes in to steal it back from these people, and that's when he ends up actually getting in trouble, because he has to defend himself, and he ends up killing one of the people that was perpetrating this extortion racket, right? So then Lenny has to run away from home so his dad's safe, so no one suspects him, so that he can live. So he goes to a big city where he just fits in with the crowd, becomes a street urchin, and just always wears his hood up, keeps his eyes down, and just trying his best to survive, right? So this tragic little guy. Now, that being said, tragic but capable, right? Now, when you want to look at his starting levels, at the very least, say you're starting level 2, you're going to go 1 into Rogue, then 1 into Barbarian, and you take Rogue first because you get all these proficiencies, right? Light armor, simple weapons, thieves tools, dex, intelligence. You have a wider range of skills to choose from. So I chose athletics, sleight of hand, stealth, investigation. And you get sneak attack level 1. Thieves can't. So you know how to talk to thieves. You can find other people of the thieves sort of mindset. Easier for you to interact with a thieves guild. Get all of this level 1. Really fantastic. And that goes into his backstory, right? Now, when you level up Lenny, your goal is by level 5, you want 3 points into Rogue, and then you want to start going full Barbarian after that, right? So you can mix it and match it however you want, but essentially think, hey, maybe you start level 1 as rogue, level 2 barbarian, and then you're going to be going to rogue level 3, and that'll be your level 4. And then after that, you're just going straight barbarian for a while, and we'll see why later. Yeah, so with roguish archetype, you're going to take Arcane Trickster, and that's why it's going to give you just a little bit of magical stuff, because Lenny's a mystical, magical guy. He fell through a portal. You know, he's in an isekai, even though it doesn't like seem like it. He's a reverse isekai, right? So spell casting, you're going to get some really cool stuff, but basically it also gives you an enhanced mage hand. So you learn mage hand and 2 others, but then you also end up getting this thing called Mage Hand Legerdemain. So at level 3 of Rogue with the Arcane Trickster, you can stow 1 object the hand is holding in a container worn or carried by a creature, right? So say someone's far away, you can like plant evidence on them, or maybe you're being crazy and you want to put some dynamite in somebody's bag. You can do that. You can retrieve an object in a container worn or carried. So same thing. You're in the street, you can pickpocket somebody from like 20 feet away, right? And then you can use thieves' tools with your mage hand, right? And that makes everything like so survivable. You go in any dungeons and you're like, all right, even if I miss this fail and the trap explodes, I'm far enough away where I'm not going to get hurt. And then in addition, you can use a bonus action graded by your cunning action to control the hand. So you even get a faster way to move it around, which is really nice. Now from there, with Barbarian, unarmored defense, you get your dex bonus plus your con bonus, right? That gives you a pretty solid way to use armor without having to wear it, and it doesn't slow you down, doesn't give you any negativities. And just say by whatever chance you're trying to sneak in somewhere, people will be like, oh, well, you're not armed. That's totally fine. You're not ready for battle. All right, we're not going to be worried about this guy. So very unassuming. Now, reckless attack, you get level 2. So you just take advantage, you smack him around, and you get a better chance to hit. Danger sense. So that's really good because you have advantage on dex saves, especially against traps and spells. But it's a little bit of a requirement. You can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated, which is very fair. So you go to background. I chose Urchin. So with that, you get acrobatics, insight. I chose jeweler's tools because he's a pickpocket, right? Like, say you're running around and you're sneaking into someone's house and you're stealing stuff, or you're on the street. You can just literally, instead of having to sell the entire crown and make a issue out of it, you know, you pop all those rubies and those jewels out of everything, and it's much harder to track you. It's much harder to point blame when you're trying to sell that stuff. It's not as much of a hot item, right? But you get city secrets. You know the secret patterns and flow of the cities, and can find passages through urban sprawl that others would miss. Basically hardcore parkour, right? When you're not in combat, you and the companions you lead can travel between any 2 locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow, right? So basically, like if you're not in combat, shortcuts let you get across the city in only like 2 hours when everyone else would take 4 hours. Say it's a very massive city and it takes a day to cross the whole thing. We can get across it in like 12 hours, or if it's like only like a walking day of like 6 hours, you get across there in 3. So you can get there and back usually, where like one person would get there, Lenny can get there and back in the same amount of time. Now, character details, some cool stuff. Neutral overall. Lenny's a neutral guy. Very not chaotic because he doesn't want to drag attention to himself, but he's also like, dude, life's hard. It hits you like a sack of bricks sometimes. You gotta be able to roll with the punches, and he doesn't see a lot of justice personally from the universe. He's just like, that's just the way life is, man. You get hit. Poor little guy, right? He's a street urchin. He's trying to scrumble and beg. He's 2'8", and that's with his ears, right? So his ears make him 2'8", but without his ears, he's probably just about like 2 feet, right? Little fun dude. With that weight, probably 50, 60 pounds soaking wet at most, right? And I didn't go too much into everything else because that's a nice little framework, and we just went over his backstory. So he's a Harengon. And so Sylvan, because hey, you know, he got created by druids, so you started in a forest. Yeah, it's appropriate. That's what he'd have. Creature type humanoid. Size, you get to choose medium or small. I choose small. Just for a lot of different reasons, but it makes it easier to hide in places. It's funny to have a tiny little rabbit guy running around and stabbing everyone in the shankles. Speed is 30. Hair trigger, so you get your proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls. So you're fast. You just gotta go fast. You run fast, you start fast, you get to make your actions fast. Very reactionary character. Proficiency in perception. Lucky footwork. When you fail a dex save throw, you can use your reaction to roll a d4 and add it to the save, potentially turning a failure into success. You can't use this reaction if you're prone or your speed is 0. The cool thing is, this you can use once every turn, right? Every time this doesn't expire, you can use this once every turn, right? And then Rabbit Hop. This one's really fun. So as a bonus action, you can jump a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus without provoking attacks of opportunity. So you can jump and just get out of a little situation real easy, right? You can use this trait only if your speed is greater than 0. You can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest, right? So what's really nice about this is, we'll go into it, but you're going to take the jump spell. The jump spell will triple your jump distance. So say your proficiency bonus is 3. You jump 15 feet. With the jump spell, you're jumping 45 feet. Insane, right? You're jumping 4 stories. You're jumping over 4 stories with the jump spell at like level 3 or 4 or 5. So then we go into abilities, and very min-maxed. So 15 strength, 15 dex, 15 constitution, 8 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 8 charisma. Just very min-maxed character. But that goes into, he's a young kid. He got thrown out into the wilderness. He just knows how to survive. And you know, he doesn't get along with people really well because only one person in his life's been like nice to him. Other than that, he's like seen as like an abomination by some people because he's a talking rabbit. Wisdom, skill, intelligence. Like, he doesn't know anything. He's a kid. He hasn't been to school. He just knows how to do stuff and how to like just make stuff happen. So from there, we go to equipment, and the big thing you're going to see is you're going to be taking daggers or scimitars, because scimitars are short swords. Because if they're scimitars or short swords, you get them as finesse, so you can still use your sneak attack when you're using a finesse weapon. And they do a d6. They're pretty solid, right? With there, you get your thieves tools, you get your jeweler's tools, crowbar, because crowbars are funny. And like, hey, he's a little thief guy. Like, you're going to be prying stuff open. You have a high strength. That works for you. And you just want a big old backpack, right? So with this character sheet, you see 30 movement speed, armor 16, initiative +6. Pretty relative. If you get an option for a starting magical item, number 1 to take is Boots of Elven Kind, because it'll make you have advantage on dex, because you make no sound when you do anything with your steps, right? And then another option is Cloak of Elven Kind, because it gives people a disadvantage on perception checks to perceive you, and then it gives you an advantage on stealth checks. And then the gloves of swimming and climbing, these are another thing that's awesome, because while you wear the gloves, climbing and swimming don't cost you extra movement, and you get a +5 bonus to strength athletics made to climb or swim. They're relatively common for being like rare items. They're really not the hardest things to find. And when you ask for, your DM's like, that doesn't sound crazy. That's awesome. But imagine this. You're Lenny, you're running somewhere, and you got to catch up to somebody. You move, you dash, and do a double move. You're doing 90 feet of movement. If you have that gloves of swimming and climbing, you can go up 9 stories on a building. Like, you can chase anything and anyone down. And then that's really early. That's even at, I think, level 3, you'll be able to do that. Now, the cool part is when you go and you want to level up, what really activates is a level 9 with Lenny Twinkletoes, because when you take a peek at what you get in Barbarian, You get Form of the Beast, which is cool, and you get like a bite, a claw, or tail attack when you rage, which is really neat. Very Bugs Bunny going crazy, right? You get a bunch of fangs, you get crazy claws, big tail. That, like you know, think Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Very crazy, very comical, but very fun. Your whole party will be like, what the hell is with this rabbit? Which is really, really cool. Good stuff. Makes for hilarity. It ensues. Then you go for ability score improvement, and you choose a feat instead. You choose mobile. You increase your feat by 10. When you use the dash, difficult terrain does not cost extra movement on that turn. When you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke attacks of opportunity from that creature for the rest of the turn, whether you hit or not. So it kind of combines dash with disengage, which is really fantastic. And then it just adds to your hardcore parkour. And if you have the gloves of swimming and climbing, you can climb almost like any surface, except for like pure ice, right? Now, you get your extra attack at level 5. What's really cool is you're dual wielding, so you get your main hand attack, you get your offhand as a bonus, but your bonus one doesn't use your modifier yet, right? Because we don't have the fighting style for it. But extra attack will be sweet because then you can hit twice with your main hand, do more damage, and then you can still use your offhand if you want. But you also get fast movement at level 5, where you increase your speed by another 10 points while you're not wearing armor, which we're not. So this translates into Lenny being able to move 50 feet for a movement. Then you take Bestial Soul at level 6, where you get jumping. Allows you to have a feral power increase, causing the natural weapons of your Form of the Beast to count as magical for overcoming resistance and immunity. But you can alter your form. So you take jumping, and when you make a jump, you make a strength athletics check and extend your jump by a number of feet equal to the check's total. You can make the special check only once per turn. But what that means is that, say you rolled a jump, you're going to jump like 8 feet. You roll a strength athletics with that. Say you roll a nat 20 and you get 30. You jump 38 feet just when you make a jump check, and you can do it once per turn, right? It's not per like short rest or long rest. And then especially if you have jump cast on you, say you do that. Say you end up rolling crazy high and you're jumping 40 feet. Well, you're jumping 120 feet of movement or for a bonus action, right? That's insane. That's like a bird flying in there. That's a dragon up in the sky that you jump up and just start latching onto and just ripping its throat out because you're a crazed little maniacal bunny rabbit. And what's cool about that, as we can see here, so like a level 9 Lenny, you still have your strength, your dex, your con, you're pretty solid. Depending on if you get armor or other things of protection, you can raise your armor class a little bit, but walking speed of 50 feet. Really, really nuts. Just by some math, say you dash and you use 2 movements, that's 150 movement in one go. Say you're doing a long jump and you want to be able to jump that crazy, ridiculous 120 feet. Well, this allows you to do it, and this proves you can do it. Now, the really fun part is, since you're a little rabbit guy, but you have a really high strength, even when you're looking at your inventory, you can carry up to 240 pounds easy. You can push, drag, or lift 480, and you're just a little guy. So if you're like running through a building ransacking stuff, and then your DM says, well, your bag is getting heavy, it's just like, no, dude, my bag's not getting heavy. Like, it might be heavy for a little gnome guy, but I can put 80 candelabras into my knapsack, right? If you have a bag of holding on this guy, forget it. You're getting rich quick, right? That's the idea. And that overall is the character. You're just moving very fast. You can use dash, dodge, disengage. When you upgrade and you get your fast movement, and when you get your mobility feat, you're just very almost untouchable. You can just get in close, or say the big bad evil guy is running away with something important you need. They can't run faster than you. They can't get away. You can run, grab that little like thing right out of their hands, and then run all the way back, and no one knows the wiser. There's a dragon flying overhead. You ask the DM, hey, how high is that dragon? And he's like, It's pretty high up there. It's like 80 feet above you. You're like, bet. I jump up to the dragon, and he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, look. And you go, wing, right up to the dragon. And overall, here is, what he looks like. Just this little dude, happy-go-lucky, tries his best, little terror. I love him. He's absolutely the best. And I made this originally for like a one-shot where we were just making crazy overpowered characters. And when I came up with this backstory, when I was like, you know what? I actually like love this guy. Like, he's like a main character of mine now. I'm going to be playing him forever. And everything around him is designed to have fun. He's a very endearing, like, when he gets with his party, have the idea that he's happy to have people looking out for him. He's a little distrustful, but like, you can have some very good character moments if he's excited to like have people. He's excited to be part of a crew, but he is also used to being like ADHD Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, hey, I can legit run down the street, steal a bunch of jewelry, and be back in a blink of an eye. And like, he's really good at it. So like, the party has to kind of deal with that. Whereas like, it's like, damn it, Lenny, like, I get it. We need some cash for this. You didn't have to steal all this jewelry. And he's like, yeah, but this way we don't gotta go out and get in trouble or risk our necks killing some evil like bog monster. We just got this jewelry. That jewelry's in short. He don't give a crap. And then the paladins are like, damn it, Lenny. But then he's like, all right, well, Lenny just got us 800 gold though. Like, but that's overall the character idea here. It's very fast, very survivable, just cut and run, but just survives. This like almost like the ultimate survivor, like a speedster character, right? Like if you want to play the Flash, play Lenny. If you want to play someone who can just like make sure that they live to see another day, like play Lenny, right? But I absolutely love this dude, and if you like him, let me know. But hey, give me a like, comment, follow, subscribe, anything you can do to help my channel out. If there's anything that you want to see me build, I'll make a build of it for you, and I'll do a new video of it. Even if it's just like throw out like, hey, make a mole person warlock. I'm like, all right, I'll figure out what I want to do for that, and I'll give you something there good for that. But thanks for watching, and hope to see you on my next video. We're gonna roll into it right now.